Hey folks, this is Shaw with Royal Tiger Imports, and today I'm here with Ian McCollum from Forgotten Weapons. We informed him that we got a batch of French rifles coming in. We had some Gras, Berthiers, Lebels, and he helped us sort through some of them, and in sorting through them, we found a small number of French Kropatschek rifles. So, if you don't mind, Ian, you can take it away with some of the history on these.
This is actually a very substantial number of French Kropatschek rifles, just from the standard of how many French Kropatscheks are in the country to begin with. These are all, there's three patterns of French Kropatscheks. These are the tube magazine 11mm Gras caliber rifles that the French military adopted. So the first one was the model of 1878. This was adopted specifically by the French Navy, and these were actually made by Steyr. They're one of the few French military rifles of this period not made in France.
Very
in Steyr in Austria. So it has a tube magazine, 11mm Gras, bolt action, and I should be clear, I came down here because I like digging through these. I don't have any financial incentive or tie to how these sell or don't sell or wherever they go. But there are 5 of them in here, although I noticed that this one actually has a Gras bolt in it. They're all in, none of these rifles are in great shape. They're all going to be restoration projects or wall hangers, but they're extremely rare guns. And so it's an opportunity for someone who's interested in completing a collection of early French rifles to get some examples that are otherwise going to be extremely difficult to find. So, we have the 1878, specifically the Navy rifle. The Navy actually never adopted the Gras. They went straight from the Chassepot to a tube magazine Kropatschek. Then we have the 1884. These were manufactured or designed by Châtellerault, and they're basically the Steyr rifle improved a bit, refined a bit. They did originally have clearing rods on the side. I believe one of the other ones has an original rod. A couple of them have replacement rods in them. Going to be pretty similar overall. You can note we have a distinctive bit of on the bolt here. These 2 holes are because you actually have a magazine cutoff switch on the side of the receiver here. So you've got 2 holes in the bolt handle to clear that switch when you close the bolt. Again, most of these are missing some parts or in rough condition, but very, very rare pattern. Then, our third pattern, which is actually the hardest of these, of all 3 to find, is the 1885. Essentially, they found that the solid wood stock on the 84 was a little bit weak. That was where it tended to break because there was a lot of receiver under it. The wood over the center was kind of thin, especially with the tube feed magazine down in there. And so they revised the design to have an exposed metal receiver. Like, we're not even going to try and put wood over it. While the handguard will have a butt stock, the middle is open. Still, tube magazine, 8mm Lebel, and they put these into production just before smokeless powder is invented. So these things go into production and are almost immediately supplanted by the new Lebel. And you can very much see where they got the basic receiver design for the Lebel. It comes directly from the 1885 Kropatschek. So these are rare because the French never made that many of them because they were supplanted so quickly. The French Navy ordered the 1878s fairly early, but they only ordered 25,000 because they didn't need a lot. The Army was looking at adopting a lot of these, but then the Lebel shows up, so they go to Lebels instead. The French shipped basically all the Kropatscheks they still had when World War I came around. They shipped to Russia as military aid. So they were used by the Russians, and they didn't have a particularly high survival rate from that. The ones that did survive went into Russian storage and were then given to the Spanish for use during the Spanish Civil War as military aid. And most of the very few that we have in the United States are actually ones that came back, well, that survived the Spanish Civil War and World War I in Russian hands, and then came into the U.S. in the 1950s when Sam Cummings bought all of the Spanish surplus. So, pretty scarce guns. You have like 4, 5, 6 of each of these. So, by French Kropatschek standards, that is the absolute mother load.
Very nice.
Not considering condition, but just the quantity here is remarkable.
Certainly.
It was cool when we were going through the crates. Like, these were all in the Lebel crate. Because the guys loading the guns didn't really pay attention to the difference. They just saw open metal receiver, that's the Lebel.
Close enough.
Yeah, the 85s and the 78s with their solid stocks, these guys were all in the Gras crates. So, anyway,
Yeah, just a great example of some of the little surprises that you see when these guns come in.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just expect what's written on the crate, and then sometimes you get a little bit of an extra surprise.
Exactly. So I don't know when you guys are listing these on the website, but actually by the time, if you're putting this video up, they're probably already listed. So
Yeah,
check them out. If there's something you're interested in, they're very rare guns.
absolutely. Yeah, and we should have these all individually posted, or at least you'll have good information on what exactly you're getting. So thank you very much for watching, and thanks again for coming down. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Turns out we have crates of mystery French rifles. Do you want to look? Is like the magic phrase to get me to show up somewhere.
Certainly. Anyway, folks, have a good one. God bless. God bless USA.